Unkillable boy plays a god's death game. Former Goddess Leche awoke from a long slumber and declared to the world to bring forth the person who is the best in games in this era. Theophilus is nominated to represent humanity as the best rookie in recent years, but the game of the gods is way too difficult. No one ever won it throughout human history because gods are capricious, very unreasonable, and sometimes completely incomprehensible. So let's see if this time humans can use their brains to actually win or not. Episode 1 begins with an explosion in a stormy winter. A girl is found inside a glacier from the Ice Age. The girl is no ordinary human being because she is a former god who wants this era's very best player. Then we see a stupid-looking guy hosting a program where humans are playing God's game. People from all over the world are watching the stream to see this historical moment take place. Then we see this nerd with glasses, thinking he is cool. The game that is going on is not showing humanity in a very good light because they are just losing like idiots. The nerdy guy decides to get going because he feels like he's the only one who can do anything to bring back the lost dignity of humanity, as he is also a challenger. Soon, the people around him will also start recognizing him as Theophilus. He has also lost a bit of weight, but more importantly, he wants the chief secretary to tell him about what is going on. The first thing she tells him is that apparently the girl he spent 6 months looking for turned out to be the wrong person. I don't know why. These words also hurt him a little bit in his heart. But then again, they also did find someone who looked just like her. I was not that lucky. The girl he was looking for had bright red hair. It was that lady who taught him how to play games when he was younger. Then he is asked to come up to the 17th floor, where they are going to talk about the game between humanity and the gods. While on their way, the secretary also told him about a lady who asked for this era's very best player. And the best player they have right now is none other than this guy, Theophilus. A year ago, a god in the form of a girl was dug out of some permafrost. This is the same one we saw earlier. She was taken to their arcane court because they were close by. She is definitely a strange one, as she hid on the seafloor while playing tag with some humans. But while she was hiding, she fell asleep and headed right into the Ice Age. She accidentally napped for the last 3,000 years. Totally frozen. She's apparently an avatar of flame in the form of a dragon and says that she's a former god whose powers have declined. She's still pretty menacing, though, so making her angry would not be a good idea. Within an hour, she could make the sitter disappear off the world map and be reduced to ashes. Now Theophilus is the one who will be watching over this dangerous god. He is very surprised, but not very excited for this kind of job. Superior spiritual beings known as gods have descended to the earth, and humans still don't know why. But maybe this way they will be able to find out why. However, if they got too nosy and made her mad, then the whole city would be in big trouble. That's why they think that Theophilus is perfect for this job. Actually, he is the only one who can do this because he just cannot die. The power of the gods is just too great and can destroy humans easily. That's why they need to ask Theophilus to do this, since he has the arise skill allowing him to not die, and also because God herself chose him. So now he will have to put on a little show. Entering the room and seeing a lot of games there will make anyone realize that this god must truly love games. Then Faye picks up 2 dice and predicts that 4 and 6 will come up. After the dice are thrown, 4 and 6 are exactly what come up. Was that just a coincidence? Well, for Theophilus, it is very easy, as he just makes sure the opposite side of the desired numbers is facing up. Then he throws them with enough force to make them do a half turn. Then a girl comes in. Theophilus realizes that this face is very familiar to him. Then the secretary introduces Theophilus to her as this era's very best player, which she has been asking for ever since he debuted last year. He's won 3 gods games. He's an apostle. That's the top of the line. The girl whom he is here to supervise is Lady Leche. Leche wonders why Theophilus is staring at her. Then the secretary leaves those two here to talk all they want. I hope Theophilus does not mess up this supervisory role due to his feelings coming in the way. Leche wants to play a game right now. However, Theophilus was hoping that maybe they could introduce themselves before that, since he will be a supervisor. He was hoping that they could get to know each other better. But Leche thinks that they will be introducing themselves through this game itself. But the game they are playing is not a guard's game, as they are not in an element. There are various guards on the table on which names, ages, hometowns, hobbies, and dreams are written. Leche made these when she got bored. She calls it self-intro memory. The name is pretty straightforward. The rules are the same as in a regular game of memory. But here he won't be pairing with numbers. He will be pairing this subject and theme with a self-introduction. For example, if Leche happens to match his hometown, then Theophilus will answer with his hometown. If Leche does not get a match, then Theophilus does not need to answer. There are pretty clear rules, so Theophilus understands everything nicely. Now all he has to do is just answer truthfully to whatever the match pair says. After Leche has finished shuffling, Theophilus asks her to just shuffle once more, as when she lined them up on the table, she had them all facing up to make it easier for Fate to understand the rules. After hearing this, the goddess is surprised that he memorized the locations of all the cards that quickly, and then even saw how they all shuffled. It is just his habit, but still, he remained truthful about the game and asked for another reshuffle. A certain person almost trained him to death and how to play games. Now Leche has started to like him, especially after the fact that he did not cheat, even though he had memorized all the cards and wanted to play against a god fair and square. Then she even thinks that maybe they should not play this game on such a small table, after which, she just says float and begins turning, and all the cards start moving at different orbits and speeds. Each card has a different orbit, so Leche herself won't even know how they're going to turn either. This way, the game will be even more fun. Now they are playing a game of 3D memory, but still, once they reveal a card, Theophilus will not forget its location, and neither will she. This is why Leche basically added a rule that will continuously change the card locations. But there is one more thing she wants to add. A unique rule is the absolutely one turn only rule. In a regular game of memory, you get a matching pair, and you get another turn, but that is not going to happen in this game. Out of all games, that added rule is going to be a pain for Theophilus, which means this is no longer just a game of memorization. Then the game starts, and Leche gives Theophilus the first turn. The two cards he chooses have hometown and blood type written on them. But do gods even have blood? Well, it's even hotter than lava. If there were even a single drop, this whole building would melt. For Theophilus, that would be quite the calamity. Now, if he wants to know more, he will have to match the blood type cards. While Leche was choosing her cards, Theophilus noticed how the gods did not even understand the concept of undergarments, which made it hard for
その体勢はちょっと。
どうしたの?
Theophilus to concentrate. Edited now, since it would not be very fair if Theophilus cannot concentrate. She tries to maintain a Sanskari posture on the cards that she gets from our hometown and names one, which she is not too happy about as there is no match now. They have seen both hometown cards, but does Theophilus know where they are now? Well, he actually does know because the card that was revealed just now is currently right behind him. It's the second one from the back in that group of 4. And the one he revealed earlier is the third from the right out of the 6 guards turning by the window right now. Now Theophilus has matched the hometown cards. He thinks that most gods share the same hometown, but she is from the elements. It's the space that humans call the superior spiritual realm. It's where the gods live. Humans need a special door to enter there. Theophilus knows about this, as he was using it up until 6 months ago. The gods are starved for games after all. So of course they will invite good human players to play with them because the gods are bored. They even gave humans arisers so that the humans could challenge them to games in a more fair manner. Humans who receive and arise from the gods will become apostles. Humans who become apostles will be able to challenge the gods to a battle of wits with other superhuman or magical powers. All gods' games take place within elements. As a reward for winning a game, the apostle will be able to use part of their arise in the real world. The more they win, the more powers they'll be able to use in the real world. Those powers are absolutely necessary to pioneer unexplored lands because 93% of the world is hostile and unexplored. In the Gods games, an apostle will lose their right to play in the games after a total of 3 losses. After winning against the gods 10 times, they will get a clear. Humanity has been tasked with completing the game. In other words, clear apostles are then given a celebration, but humans are still uncertain of what exactly that entails. No human has pulled off this feat yet, but maybe Faith Theophilus can. Faith Theophilus is actually slightly surprised that Leche is not hesitating to answer at all. But since it is just one of the rules of this game, she has no reason to hesitate. Rules aren't meant to be mere restraints, they're meant to be enjoyed. In the next turn, Leche manages to match the name cards. Now Faith Theophilus gets an opportunity to actually introduce himself. His full name is Faith Theophilus. Then Leche asks for his nickname, which is Faith Theophilus, as no one has ever called him anything. Other than that, it's a wonder about what questions can be thought of from the cards that are matched. If someone is witty enough, they can stretch out the range of questions as much as they want. So this isn't a game where you just pick cards, even if he knows where the cards are. Not taking some cards will lead to his victory. This is an informational game where the players will have to make a selection each turn. Faith Theophilus has started to gather enough information, and he is pretty sure he knows where the cards that he needs are. Now all that's left is what she is after. In her next turn, she gets 2 cards on which there is nothing written. That must mean whoever gets those cards can ask whatever question they'd like. In a regular deck of cards, those would be the jokers. Those were one of the pairs Faye himself was trying to get. Leche is also happy after getting these cards. This time, God gets really menacing and asks what the real reason is, due to which Faith Theophilus tried to get closer to her. I'm pretty sure Faith Theophilus's heart skipped a beat after this scenario. In that menacing form, she continues that she will not allow any falsities to her question. They do not think she is a former god, because after seeing this, he is pretty sure that she is very much a god even now. But he remembers what his mentor taught him. If you have someone to play with, any game is enjoyable. They both had the same motives. While they casually played the game, they were both actually aiming for the wild cards, and he also knew a god like her would see through Chief Secretary Miranda's motive. But that is fine with him since he got to play a fun game. Then he honestly answers that his goal is to keep an eye on Lady Leche herself. Then we get to see the secretary's office, from which she is also watching the game and is not happy with this, as she thinks that after this, God will reduce the city to ashes. But Faith Theophilus keeps on being honest and also tells Leche how the Chief Miranda wanted to find out who God truly is and what her motive was. The dude basically snitches, but who blames him when he is facing such a scary god? This much is something Leche figured out herself, but still, Faith Theophilus answered her honestly and earnestly and even played this game with her. Now Leche is in her calm mood once again as she thinks that Faith Theophilus is a good human. Then she also decides that she will call him Faye from now on, while allowing him to call her Leche, as she thinks that these games will be no fun if there is a distance between them. Then she even gives him the cards about dreams, hometown, and hobbies, as she realizes that he was not trying to win against her in the first place. The true nature of this game is that even if you know where a card is, don't take it because this is not the same game as the original, where the goal is to get more pairs. For example, taking the name card is useless as he already knows that her name is Lady Leche. Since they don't get another turn after getting a pair, it would have just wasted their whole turn because of the additional rule. You're always weighing the cards you memorize against the information you want. But still, it was a fun modification. Now Leche just asks him what he was planning to ask if he would have gotten the blank cards. Faith Theophilus tells her he wants to know why she stays here instead of returning to Elements, and also why she chose him specifically, as there are plenty of apostles more skilled than him. She answers that the reason for all that is because he is the only rookie to get 3 wins in a row, and she wants to clear the gods games with him. She came down here to play with humans, but apparently it's a one-way trip from the elements to this physical world, and now she cannot go back to being a god. So basically, she made a hoopsie and got stuck here. But still, if she can get 10 victories in the god games, then the gods will grant her a wish, allowing her to go back to being a god. That is what celebration means, and they will not just get one wish, but they can have hundreds, thousands, however many one wants. But not a single human's achieved this before. Then Leche takes Faith Theophilus to the Divine Gate to get started. She just cannot wait any longer, as she has been waiting to find a human like Faith Theophilus forever. Their god's game is about to begin in the superior spiritual realm. Then we see a really huge monster that is playing hide and seek with puny humans. It looks like quite a dangerous game. I appreciate you viewing my anime recap, Unruly Family. Please let me know what you think about the God's game we play by liking, sharing, subscribing, and leaving a comment.
Take you